Hello and welcome. Recently I've had a new influx of subscribers. So today I'm going to do something a little different. It's the subscriber milestone bonus video. Many of you new to this channel may not be familiar with the CoCo or its rich history and traditions. Or you might be wondering what kind of content to expect on this channel or where even to start. So I'm going to talk about the remarkably active CoCo community, how people CoCo today, and what to expect from this channel. And at the end I'll talk a little bit about the other YouTube channels that I enjoy watching. Bonus! When I was 9 years old, my dad bought me my first computer. It was a 4K CoCo 1 with the silver box and a tape recorder. A couple upgrades later, and I was the happy owner of a 64K CoCo 2, which I still have to this day, and which was mostly neglected for decades. It wasn't until I discovered the current community of CoCo enthusiasts and this magic cable, more on this later, that I was inspired to pull it out and start playing with it some more. I was surprised to learn that people continue to make new hardware mods for their CoCo. New hardware accessories. And even brand new hardware replacements, brand new motherboards that you can purchase and put together your own CoCo. Folks continue to write new games and operating systems and other utilities, assemblers, linkers, even a C compiler. The mention of any website, product, or service herein is not an endorsement or declaration of fitness for any purpose. I am not responsible for the accuracy or reliability of any information provided in this communication. You should always do your own research before making any decisions based on the information provided in this video. The CoCo Nation goes live every week, and with their interviews and news reports, there are hours of new things to talk about every week. They also host the Game On Challenge each week and CoCo Tech videos. They are very friendly and welcoming. If you join and comment during the live streams, they will respond and welcome you. You can also connect with the CoCo community via the Discord, email list, and Facebook group, or in person at the yearly CoCo Fest, which is a continuation of the Rainbow Fest from the 80s and 90s. There are plenty of other in-person retro computing events that feature the CoCo, but the CoCo Fest is the main show I know of dedicated exclusively to the CoCo. And that brings me to this cable. This is a drive wire cable that I bought from Cloud9. You can actually build one your own if you like. And with this and freely downloadable software, I can connect my CoCo to my PC and use my PC hard drive as a fleet of virtual floppies. And just about every piece of software ever written for the CoCo is available at the Color Computer Archive as virtual floppies and virtual cassette files. Use them with emulators or write on your own CoCo with the drive wire cable. Or the CoCo SDC. I don't personally have one of these, but all the cool kids do. It lets you plug in an SD card and access it like a fleet of hundreds of floppies. And you don't need a CoCo to CoCo. The XRoar emulator is simple to use, lightweight, and extremely accurate. It can even run in a browser. MAME is great as well and has a powerful built-in debugger. VCC is also popular. It focuses exclusively on the CoCo 3. XRoar and MAME are also capable of doing CoCo 3 emulation. I don't know anything about these, but you can also simulate the CoCos using a mister. This channel is my attempt to document the fun that I've been having with my CoCo ever since I pulled it out of storage. You can either take a look at videos that look interesting to you, or maybe run through some playlists depending on what kind of mood you're in and what kind of content you want to look at. The Playlists tab will give you an idea of the kind of content that I like to put out on this channel, and just to go over a few of them. Some of the earliest videos that I made were about DriveWire, which is how I eventually plugged my physical CoCo into the modern world. And these videos go over the theory of how the DriveWire software works, and also it shows you me actually backing up my floppies and then consuming virtual floppies with my physical CoCo. The Fundamentals playlist is about stuff that isn't necessarily CoCo specific, but just like little learner videos about various computer science concepts. There's a playlist just of all the bugs, so you can watch me fail and watch me try to figure stuff out and see if you can figure things out before I do. And for the times where you do not want to think, the Veg Out playlist is just a bunch of like interesting pictures and animations and music, and there is absolutely no brain required. The bread and butter of this channel is really my adventures through assembly language programming, and a lot of these videos document my investigation of the built-in basic ROM and how you can use undocumented routines from your own assembly language code. And at the very beginning are a couple videos just about setting up your environment. So if you're interested in following along, you can start with these two to get yourself set up with a good editor and a debugger and an assembler so that you can do stuff the way I do stuff. And to help with your following along, there's a link on the header that'll take you to a blog with all the source code. So if you want to follow along, maybe assemble the code, debug the code yourself, make some changes to the code, it's all available for you here, and it can be useful as a neat learning tool or just for fun. Most recently, I've been working on a game, and this first playlist, Game Resurrection, is about taking a game that I started in high school and then getting it to work in my new environment. And then the second playlist, which is still ongoing, is about me applying some new advanced techniques that I've been learning so I can help improve the game. Before I chat about the channels that I enjoy watching, just a quick note that there's no agreement that I would do this. There's no like cross-promotional thing. No one even knows that I'm doing this. I'm just really listing channels that I enjoy watching in case you might enjoy watching similar things. You'll notice that most of them are hardware-oriented. I don't particularly have an interest in hardware stuff. There's no way I'm going to open up my CoCo and start soldering stuff. But it's kind of fun watching other people do it. Apologies to those channels that I don't mention but watch. There are plenty that I watch. I just can't list them all in this one video. One of the first channels that I found when I was getting back into CoCoing was AC's 8-Bit Zone. It focuses primarily on hardware stuff, but there were a couple videos here that just made me scrape my jaw off the floor after I got done watching them. He has a couple videos on a Pac-Man game on the CoCo that he was working on, which looks incredible. And then there was this video, which I absolutely loved, where he goes into the ROM and hacks the sine waveform to make it more reliable to save and load programs on cassette. Canadian Retro Things is just super fun. You can watch him play around with hardware and installing mods and creating circuit boards and playing games. 8-Bits in the Basement is a nice combination of hardware stuff and also some software stuff, including other machines like the Atari 2600. The Taylor and Amy Show is another mostly hardware channel. The two of them are just funny and fun to watch. And if you only watch one video from their channel, I would recommend the 6502 song. Really well done. Retro Game Mechanics Explained is probably one of the most professional, polished channels that I've seen. This person goes into incredible depth as he breaks apart and analyzes how many of these retro games are coded and how they work. And it should go without saying that, of course, I am a regular viewer of the CoCo Nation. And in addition to channels, there are a couple of blogs I enjoy reading. Norman9999, that's Glenn's weblog. Glenn has done many transcodes of arcade video games to the CoCo, which are incredible. They are pretty much identical looking and playing to the original arcade games. So he has a lot of interesting things to say about assembly language programming. And Sabitha Software is another really interesting blog about coding both basic and assembly language on the CoCo. And L. Curtis Boyle's site must be the most exhaustive list of every CoCo game ever made. And for each one, he goes into detail on the history and what it looks like and everything. And often there are download links as well. For those who saw my previous MAME video, you might be interested to see he has a page just on Dragonfire too. His site also is the place to go for information on the Nitrous 9 operating system for the CoCo. Well, that wraps it up for this video. I hope you found it interesting. Coming up next on this channel, I do plan to release a video that follows up my previous video, where I'll go into detail on the actual code that I used to write that little demo app that gave a bunch of colors on the screen that shouldn't be there. I also plan to go through the Dragonfire source code and show how that works, and it's much more complicated and ambitious effort to get multiple modes per scan line. And also, now that I have a working MAME debugger that will properly show you the beam, X and Y and frames you're going across, we'll be using that as I go through the code to get a good picture of what's going on and when. Until then, thank you for watching.